Good morning, students. I'm going to start the discussion with already we completed first unit. In the part of first unit, what we have seen, what is the data mining, and what are the data mining functionalities, and in order to perform the data mining, basically what we require that level we learned, and continuation to that discussion we are going to have in the data mining concepts. Here we are going to have the discussion which is related to data warehousing and the data mining. In the part of this, if you look at, so basically we are going to have the discussion with the association rules. So here association rules contents, if you look at the contents, what we are going to discuss: problem definition, frequent item set generation, a priori principle, FP growth principles, and frequent item set. How can we represent the frequent item set? That we are going to have a discussion. In the part of this, let me start the discussion with what mining frequent patterns. Mining frequent patterns. So here, in order to mine the frequent patterns, so let me know, first of all, let me clarify you people, that is, what is frequent pattern. What is frequent pattern? So here, if you look at the frequent pattern, the items which are going to be occurring frequently, so the items which can be combined together, those things we are going to consider as frequent patterns. So here, if what is the, during the discussion of association rule, already we discussed. So what we had a discussion, what is the reason behind for combining the items together. So association in the sense combining. So what is the necessity for combining, that we already discussed. And here what we are going to see, so if what kind of items we can combine together, on what basis we are going to combine the items together, that we are going to discuss in this association concepts. And during the identifying what items to be combined together, we are going to use some methods. Those are frequent patterns identification methods, like FP growth and FP tree. A priori algorithm and FP tree algorithm. So that we are going to discuss. So in the part of this, associations and the classification in the association rules, based on the dimension, based on the levels, and from association mining to correlation analysis, these are the topics which we are going to be covered in this unit. And coming to association rule mining, so what we are going to do, we are going to find the frequent patterns, right? So how can we find the frequent patterns? Suppose here body to head. So already told you, simple association rule can be given like x tends to y. So if x happens, y is also going to be happen. That is the thing we are going to have a discussion, right? So this is a simple association rule. So x tends to y in the sense, if x is going to be existence, y is also exists. So that we are going to discuss body tends to head. So it is given with some support and confidence. So here there are two values which are given, and whenever we are going to give a statement, what we need to do, we need to justify the statement. So generally we cannot say any statement vaguely. So therefore x tends to y. So whenever you are going to specify, suppose some x person is coming to the college whenever y person is attending the college, so that what we can conclude, if x attends, y is also going to attend. How can you say? Because I have observed several times it happened, so that I can conclude, if x attends the class, y is also going to attend the class. So that is why whenever you are going to give a statement, what you need to consider, or you need to support, or you need to strengthen that statement with the help of some values, right? So those values are support and confidence. So here, if you look at the example, XCS takes XDB, grade XA. So if any person which which takes branch as a CSC and takes database subject, then he will be awarded with grade A. How can you say some 1% support is there, 70% confidence is there? So what is the support, what is the confidence? Confidence in the sense the probability of occurrence, the chance of occurrence. This is my confidence. Like this we can give a statement, right? So the confidence is the probability of occurrence, and the support is the number of transactions which we are observed under such analysis. Whatever the statement we are going to mention, how many number of transactions you have observed, that will be given with support, and what is the probability of occurrence, that will be given with support, right? So like this we are going to see the association analysis, right? And here see this, how can we measure the support and confidence? And here support is probability that transaction contains X and Y, and confidence is conditional probability that under this condition what are the minimum value of support and what are the minimum value of confidence, that we are going to find out. So this is the transaction database which we have taken, and A tends to C. So if A exists, C is also going to be existed, that we are going to consider or mention with the help of support 50% and confidence 66%, like this. And C tends to A, this is also one more statement, and like this we are going to generate association rule. So association rules may be classified based on the see here Boolean versus quantitative, based on the types of values. Suppose BICE X SQL server, BICE X DM book, BICE X DB miner. So here what we are going to observe, so these are some categorical data. So here if X buys SQL server book, then if X buys DM book, there is a chance for buying X DB miner book. And if you look at here quantity, here we are going to mention the quantity 32, 39, 42, 48, PC and some values. So here what is this quantitative value? So if age of X is 32, 39, income of X is 42, 48, then there is a chance of buying PC. There is a chance of buying PC. We have observed 1% of transactions, and there is a confidence, that is the chance of occurrence is 75%. The chance of occurrence is 75%. So here single dimension and multi-dimension. So that is X is given with 30 to 39 as one dimension, that is age, another dimension income. So here multiple dimensions are there. But if you look at here BICE, only one predicate is there. Here age is one predicate, income is another predicate. So here we are dealing with multiple predicates, here we are dealing with single predicate, like that is single dimension and multiple dimension. That is the one classification. And level. So level in the sense, already told you, the level is kind of abstraction. So if you are going to specify here SQL server, suppose if I am going to attach author name also, what we are trying to do, we are trying to add more details. Whenever we are going to trying the more details, the abstraction is going to be reduced. If you are going to hide the details, that abstraction is going to be increased. And correlation, whenever we are going to generate the association rule, we need to consider correlation analysis. What is the relation between two attributes, that also we are going to find out. And see this mining association rule. Some transactional databases are given, and minimum support, minimum confidence values are also given. And here what we need to do, we need to find out the frequent item set. So here if you look at the transaction database, 2000 ABC, 1000 transaction ID AC, 4000 AD, 5000 BEF. And what we are going to do, we are going, the frequent items, A is occurring 75%, B is 50%, C is 50%, AC combinedly 50%. So what is this? This is a frequent items. How many number of A? Probably 3 transactions are going to hold A, so 75%. 2 transactions are going to have C, 50%. 2 transactions are going to have B, so 50%. and A and C together two transactions, so that what we can conclude 50%. So here this is the frequent item set I have generated based on the given data, right? And here what we are going to do, we are going to use the a priori principle. Using the a priori principle, what we are going to find out, we are going to find out the frequent item sets. So here the principle of frequent item set is any subset of frequent item set must be frequent. Any subset of frequent item set must be frequent. That means suppose I will tell you, suppose A, B, C is a frequent item set. A, B, C is a frequent item set. So what we have to do, any subset of frequent item set must be frequent. That means subset is A is a subset, B is a subset, C is a separate, AB is subset, AC is subset, BC is subset, and ABC. These are all the subsets, right? And empty set. So whenever you are going to give a statement like ABC is a frequent item set, A should be frequent, B should be frequent, C should be frequent, AB should be frequent, AC should be frequent, BC should be frequent, and ABC should be frequent. Suppose how can you say ABC is a frequent? If the number of support is minimum 2, then I am going to consider it as a frequent item set. Just like whenever we are going to have 50% of attendance, then we are going to consider such student as a regular student, right? So 50% is the criteria for identifying that particular student as a regular. So in the same way here, what we are going to do, ABC is going to be considered as frequent whenever it is occurring for twice, minimum number of times twice. So A should be repeated for at least 2, B should be repeated for at least 2, individually C should be that's what we can call repeated for twice, and AB twice, AC twice, BC twice, ABC twice. Then only ABC is a frequent item set. Got it? So here ABC is a frequent item set. So now is it clear? I hope. So what is frequent item set? So how can you define the frequent item set? A frequent item set, all non-empty subsets of frequent item set must be frequent. Just now any subset of frequent item set must be frequent. Otherwise the same can be given as all non-empty subsets of a frequent item set must be frequent. And find the frequent item set. So in order to find out the frequent item set, what we are going to do, so here a priori algorithm is going to be used. So in this a priori algorithm, we are going to have majorly 2 steps. One is join step and another one is prune step. So join step is going to join the tables together. Prune step is going to eliminate the subsets or sets which are not frequent. So using this concept, that is joining and pruning, we are going to find out the frequent item sets. And here in each and every step we are going to find out the candidate key, and whether that candidate item set is frequent or not, that we are going to find out. If the candidate set is frequent, then we are going to consider that, otherwise we are going to eliminate, right? Join step and prune step. So that is, and if you see the example, then it is very clear for you. See this example, one database is given to us. It consists 4 transactions. These are the transaction IDs and these are the items. So under transaction ID 100, there are 3 items, 1, 3, 4. Under transaction ID 200, there are 3 items, 2, 3, 5. Under transaction ID 300, there are items like 1, 2, 3, 5. And under 400, there are transactions 2 and 5. So initially what we need to do, we need to scan the database and we need to create and we need to generate one item set. We need to generate one item set, that like this 1 2 3 4 5. So after generating the one item set, what we need to consider? Support. You need to find out the support in the sense the number of occurrences. So 1 is occurred for 2, 2 is occurred for thrice, 3 is occurred for thrice, 4 is occurred for once, 5 is occurred for 3 times. So this is the support. So what will be the consideration here? I am going to consider if any item which is having minimum support 2, that we are going to consider as a frequent item set. So that means if the item is repeated for at least twice, then only that item is going to be considered as frequent item set. So here candidate key is generated one item set, candidate one item set. This is frequent one item set. L1 is representation for frequent one item set. So one items are there in each set, frequent. So here what is removed? 4 is removed. 4 is removed. So why the 4 is removed? Because it is having only less than minimum support. The minimum support is 2. It is having lesser value. So what you are doing? You are deleting the 4. And after getting the L1, what you need to do? You are going to generate the L2. How can you get the L2? So L2 can be generated C2 can be generated by combining L1 with L1. That means Cn equals to Ln minus 1 joined with Ln minus 1. Right? Cn is generated with the help of C2. Cn is generated with the Ln minus 1, Ln minus 1. So initially we generated the C1, then based on that we got L1. Now see this C2. How to get the C2? If you are able to combine L1 with L1, then we are going to get the C2. See this. Ck is the candidate item set, Lk is frequent item set. So in order to get the Lk minus 1 equal to candidate Ck plus 1 with minimum support. So under candidate key, whatever the transactions which are having minimum support, those are considered for frequent item set. Right? And candidate key can be generated from Lk. Candidate key can be generated from Lk. So how to get the candidate key? Here it is not given, but see there. Combining Lk, then we are able to generate the frequent. So here Ck equals to Lk minus 1 combines Lk minus 1. So using this we are going to find out the C2 can be given with L1 joined with L1. Right, here C2 can be given with L1 joined with L1, so that here two item set can be generated like this: 1 2 1 3 1 5 2 3 2 5 3 5. See there, 1 2 1 3 1 5 2 3 2 5 3 5. So this is a candidate 2 item set. Then what we need to consider? We need to consider the minimum support. 1 2 is occurring for 1. If you look at this, 1 2 1 2 1 2 only once, 1 3 twice, 1 5 once, 2 3, like this we are going to have the support values. And here again 1 2 is removed, 1 5 is removed. So why? Because they are having lesser support than minimum support. Then I am going to get the L2. How can you get the L2? Whatever the transactions which are mentioned under candidate 2 item set, which are having minimum support. The transactions with minimum support are considered for L2. So like this 1 3 2 3 2 5 3 5. And then how can I get the C3? C3 equals to L2 joined with L2. C3 equals to C3 equals to what? How to get the C3? C3 equals to L2 joined with L2. So here I am going to join L2 with L2. Then what I am going to get? 1 3 2 1 3 5 1, that's it, 2 3 5 Next 235, that's it. So here some transactions I have not mentioned. So what are the transactions I have not mentioned? 1 3 5 and 1 2 3 and 1 3 5 2 3 5. Otherwise, if you get any confusion, like this also you can do this. So how can you do this? I will tell you, just a moment. Just wait. Right. You see here, what are the combinations we are going to? 3 item set. 1 2 3 1 2 3. Next 1 2 5. Next 2 3 5. Next 1 2 3 1 2 5 2 3 5. Anything else? 1 2 3 1 2 5 2 3 5. That's it. These are the combinations we are going to get, but we have not mentioned only 2 3 5. Why we have not mentioned 1 2 3 and 1 2 5? So the reason is, here if 1 2 3 is a frequent item set, then what is the principle? 1 2 should be, all non-empty subsets must be frequent, but here just we removed 1 2. So 1 2 removed in the sense 1 2 is not a frequent item set, so its superset is also not a frequent item set. So that no need to verify, directly we can remove that based on the a priori principle. And 2 3 5 we are mentioned, the item support is 2, and L3 we are going to get 2 3 5. So that's it. We are not going to get 4 item set. If it is, what is a 4 item set? 1 2 3 5. 1 2 is not a frequent item set. How can you consider its superset for verifying whether it is frequent item set or not? So this is the principle of a priori algorithm. Listen carefully. Initially what we need to do, each and every time we are going to generate, first initially we start with candidate key C1, and then we are going to find out the support values. Whatever the transactions which are having minimum support, then they are going to be considered for frequent item set. This is frequent 1 item set, and in order to get the candidate 2 item set, we need to join the frequent item set with itself. L1 join with L1, then you are going to get the C2, and again the same. So if C2 is having minimum support values, then those are considered for L2, and in order to get the C3, L2 is going to be combined with L2, then we are going to get the C3. If C3 is going to be having with minimum support, those transactions are generated for frequent 3 item set. This is the way we are going to generate the frequent item set. So here what are the frequent item set? This is L1, L2 and L3. These 3 are frequent item sets. And next, see there, first self joining, CK, joining and pruning. So here we have eliminated, what we have eliminated? 1 2 3 1 2 5 we have eliminated, that is pruning. Clear? Joining step and pruning step. There are 2 major steps which are involved in the a priori principle, and it is clearly given. That's it. And how can we improve the efficiency of a priori algorithm? The efficiency of a priori algorithm can be improved with the help of hash-based item set counting, transaction reduction, partitioning, sampling, dynamic item set counting. So hash-based in the sense we are going to divide the data set into number of buckets. By doing this, we are able to reduce the number of transactions, repetitions, and transaction reduction. Instead of taking the all transactions into consideration, we are going with the less number of transactions. Our entire database is divided into partitions, and individually we are going to find out the frequent patterns, that is partitioning. And sampling in the sense, again, instead of taking entire database into consideration, we are going to take a sample, otherwise dynamic item set counting. These are the different methods which we are going to be followed for improving the efficiency of a priori algorithm. And coming to drawbacks, what are the drawbacks? In order to get what you need to get, in order to get the frequent item set, every time you need to create the candidate item set. That is the headache. And so this is the major drawback of candidate key. And frequent pattern tree. So we are going to have had a discussion about a priori algorithm. In case of a priori algorithm, the major thing is we need to generate the candidate keys. So without using candidate keys, we can find out the frequent patterns. So that is the technique of FP tree. Okay, in the next class we can discuss about FP tree.